This podcast is just for fun. It's all fake. Don't believe us. Look, do your own research. Cuckoo Rando. Welcome to
the
show.
Yep.
Just to tease right away, this episode is about Skinwalker Ranch, but we just got done recording the Patreon because we had to do it a little different this week again, and we had to record the Patreon early. Yep. Yeah, but we go into some actual Skinwalker stories on the Patreon. So if you're interested in that, you're gonna have to subscribe to the Patreon. This is the one time because I don't necessarily like putting stuff on the Patreon that I would put that deserves a spot on the main.
Right.
And so we might do an episode on Skinwalkers at some point, but that's one of the things I'm sure quite a few of our listeners know about blurry creatures. I love the blurry creatures guys, but one of the things that was always ticked me off about blurry creatures was that their best episodes were always behind the paywall. Yeah. And it annoyed me to the point where I refused to get the Patreon or the paywall thing, because I was like, don't put your best content behind the paywall.
Yeah.
They're obviously way more successful than we are, and so maybe there is something to that, but I always refused and just been like, no, we're going to put equal content behind the paywall.
Yeah.
This might be the one time where the paywall is some main episode worthy content.
Yeah.
Short, but awesome.
Maybe an episode worthy content, but it definitely isn't better than our regular content.
No, it's not. People aren't.
Not that I think that was what you're saying,
yeah.
But it kind of sounded like that might be what you were saying. So I want to clarify that's not the case.
No. But it is one of those episodes where if it was me and I came along this, I would be like, ooh, I really want to listen to that Patreon episode. I might just subscribe for a week and see what it's all about. And if that's you, do it. Patreon.com/BABigfoot. $5 gets you in the door. $10 is the upgrade package. We're working on some things behind the scenes to create.
$10, you say? That is such a deal.
That's actually a really good deal.
It's a really good deal.
We're working on a bigger package that might get you some merch and at a higher price point. But anyway, one way or the other, go to patreon.com/BABigfoot. And while we're doing the ads, let's go ahead and get the energy drink
give
segment
me
going.
this deliciousness.
All right, 3, 2, 1. I went back to the Cosmic Rainbow C4. I feel like it tastes like all of the Skittles together.
Rocking a Monster Mango Loco.
I'm so happy.
Dude, it's so good.
I'm just liquid deathing because I'm on the Insane Labs Diablo and I don't want to die.
So, yeah, that sounds good.
This is still probably my favorite energy drink, period. Bad Apple's probably number 2, but I think this is still my number 1. It's the greatest thing ever.
Next, I think it'll be here by next week. One of our Patreon subscribers, followers, former students, awesome peoples that I've really enjoyed getting to reconnect with him after college. Now, it was kind of a weird story, but I met. Okay, I don't know if he cares if I tell the story, but anyway, I was randomly in Jay Bravo's TikTok.
Oh yeah.
And there's this dude on there, and his name on TikTok is Phelan, and I was like, that's a weird enough name. It's very unique.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, that's a unique name. I had a student that was named Phelan, and I haven't heard from him since he was a student. And so I clicked on his profile, and it said Nebraska, and I was like, what are the odds? And I was like, hey, I had no mutual friends with him other than Jay Bravo.
Yeah.
That was it. And I was like, did you go to Shattern State? And he's like, what? You could tell it was
Like,
who did you just
How
talk
do you know
to?
that?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
He's like what? And then a few minutes later, he's like, wait, is this Pastor Tanner? And I was like, Phelan, buddy, long time no talk. And just randomly ran into him, and he was a big supporter of Bravo. But anyway, I'm preemptively giving him a shout out because have you heard of Cranium? It's a Nebraska-based energy drink out of Fremont.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've heard of it.
The only reason I haven't ordered it is because their shipping costs are insane.
Yeah.
And so...
Just drive down there and get some.
I'm like, go get them. But Phelan is shipping some to us, or at least to me. I don't know how many. I didn't look real close at the text because I thought he was saying he ordered it for himself, and I was going to say, "Hey, on your way through sometime, let me try one." But then he was like, "No, the address was yours," and I was like, "Oh, sweet!" So next week I want to try the Cranium, and we'll be able to give you.
Very cool.
But Monkey had mentioned Cranium like a year ago,
right?
And was like, you should try these guys. They're Nebraska based. It's real. I think he said it was really good stuff. I can't remember if he was like promoting it just because it was Nebraska, or if he was like, hey, this is really good stuff. And that was when I first learned about it. Literally, I was like, I'm going to go through there at some point.
Right.
Like, I know because I speak at retreats in that area, and literally, like, I'm going to be speaking at a retreat this year in that area. I'm going to stop and get some next time I go through. And I just haven't been through since he messaged me.
Yeah.
And so, but
ancient days of giants, when the earth was wild and free, a creature roamed the valleys, cloaked in mystery. Is he born of angels' blood and man, a Nephilim so tall, or a shadow of the fallen, yet he the maker's call? He's a biblically accurate Bigfoot, with a lineage from the skies. Not a myth or legend, but a truth that never dies. Is he a remnant of the Nephilim, a titan standing tall? Or does he have the word of God upon him, the last to hear the call?
now we're
Dude,
going to try.
I gotta say, I'm always impressed with how on top of things people in our community are.
They make this podcast way easier to do because you know what I mean. There's not a whole lot of deep thinking that we have to do prior to the show. I mean, we do our research and we do our stuff and we have our conversations, but it all comes from them.
Yeah.
Do you realize that for the last 3 months, I think I've only had to come up with one episode topic?
Yeah.
Because now, obviously, I'm the one guiding kind of like how many episodes we're going to spend on this topic. Are there any branch outs?
Yeah.
But the actual like topics have been Patreon people requesting stuff.
Yeah.
This is actually a Patreon request from Red. Because he requested we talk about the Skinwalker Ranch and other adjacent in crypto lore ranches. And so he specifically was like, "Hey, I want you to talk about this ranch, which we will
wretched ranches.
We'll talk about next week." But he's like, "It might be kind of a combo with Skinwalker Ranch." And I was like, "Skinwalker Ranch, we haven't done yet." So,
wretched ranches.
Yes,
I'm trying so hard.
And there are a plethora of weird ranches when we started looking into it. There really are.
There's a lot. Yeah.
I mean, technically, we talked about a freaky ranch like really long time ago, which you guys revisited kind of something adjacent to that last week. I guess I wasn't here for
with
that
the area.
One, I was thinking of Spawn Ranch.
Oh yeah, and MK Ultra. My brain just I will say the Area 51 week and the MK Ultra week have blended in my brain, and that just is one week that exists in my life for some reason. Just there was so much going on.
Well, to be fair, the last 3 weeks felt like one.
That is true. Oh yeah, and then the last one is hit up Theo G. The Theo G. Chakra Tattoo in Denver.
if you re-enunciate, it's the OG.
Yeah, that was the thing that I heard as well.
Yeah,
the OG.
Theo G, or if you put the space in between the E and the O, you got the OG.
That's true. But if you mention biblically accurate
Ask him if he
Bigfoot.
realized that.
Probably not. Like if his name's legitimate Theo, that's his name. But yeah.
But
I don't know.
Yeah. So, but if you mention the Biblically Accurate Bigfoot podcast, you get 25% off of a high-end tattoo.
Yes, sir.
High-end. Like, talking elite tattoo. And so you should book your appointment now. But for real, like, hit them up. We're not just advertising because, somebody was like, "Hey, you want to advertise?" No, we actually like their quality.
Yep.
Mike's been hyping them up since before he ever came onto the podcast.
Yeah, I mean he's a walking billboard, and his tattoos are insane.
Well, thank you.
Insane. But yeah.
I mean,
25%
compliment to your taste, but it's compliment
quarter of your
skill.
Right. Dude, 25% off is a fat discount.
Especially
for a tattoo. That is
tattoo. That's not going to chunk off.
That's crazy.
When he first reached out, I was thinking he was going to do like a 10%.
I've seen 10% off. I've seen where they do like a Halloween bangers for cheap, but I've never seen these guys do that, and that's pretty cool that they're doing that for
25% off. Yeah, for real. Like, seriously, hit them up. That is well worth. Because honestly, even if you're like, well, the gas to get down to Denver, dude, if you're from around here, the 25% saves you the gas. Like, it is worth it to go down to Denver, and you get a trip to Denver. Anyway,
do some shopping.
I don't know if that's all that good of an advertisement.
Phil, shut up. We're trying to sell this. You get to go next to Estes Park.
Okay,
that's an advertisement. You can go down to Estes Park. It's not a BA Bigfoot. If I don't go to Estes Park, go on a hike, get done with a hike, go shower, hit up Theo G and at Shocker Tattoo and get your discount and get a cool tattoo, and then come home and that's a weekend.
Yeah. So here's what you go down there. This is what we always do too. We go down there and then you just ask them if they're hungry and they want to order some food. They order the best food delivered down there, and you just help pay for lunch, and they'll have a little lunch break, and it's a good time. It's a good place. It's just fun place to hang out. Honestly.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we already did the Patreon. So current events. I haven't wrote down current events this week, but there are a lot of current events. We just talked about the buffalo on the Patreon. We talked about the buffalo at Yellowstone that tossed the old dude in the air.
Oh my God, launched him.
Have you seen the t-shirts? Have you seen the t-shirts that have come out?
Yeah.
I have not.
Don't pet the fluffy cows.
Don't pet the fluffy cows.
It's him like 20 feet in the air.
I gotta
Poor guy, man.
How do you become a legend? Stupidity.
Tanner and I were talking
Stupidity does it nowadays.
Tanner and I were talking about how dumb that was, and so there were some people online defending it, like, well, he was on a walking path. He wasn't the thing that agitated it. He was just trying to take his pictures, and I was like,
yeah, there's
brother.
I mean, you can tell from the video it's agitated. Leave it alone.
Well, and that's the thing, right?
It was fired up before he even
It's not like he went and was poking at it or anything, but you're too close.
Yeah.
To be
back up,
not protected.
Right.
You're just too close.
The full video, he runs around the trees.
Yeah, I know.
He's running around in circles, and it finally catches him.
Looney Tunes in it.
Yeah,
but
he stopped to look because he was running, not looking. And as soon as he stopped and looked over his shoulder,
I'm gonna post it in the Discord right now and not tell anybody about it.
I was saying,
I'm glad he's okay. I don't like to see people get hurt.
Yeah, if he died or something, I'd be like, let's not.
But man, I can't imagine being that close to something that big and powerful and unpredictable without being in a vehicle or having some form of protection, solid barrier between me and it.
Yeah.
I was saying, even just driving through Custer State Park, or especially if you go to Yellowstone, you're pretty much inevitably going to end up very close to a bison.
Yeah.
And like being within like 20, 30 feet of him in a vehicle makes me a little bit.
And this guy was extra large. This was not.
That was a big boy.
That was a big boy. That was not your just average everyday like that.
No, that sucker was definitely.
That dude was a dominant male.
That was like a 16 to 1800 pound.
Yeah, he was
animal.
a big one.
That was a monster.
Yeah, dude.
Oh man.
Old angry monster.
Just grumpy.
Yeah,
dude. Animals. Yeah. Anyway.
There's animals that are a lot smarter than that I wouldn't want to be that close to.
For real.
Without protection.
Agree.
Anywho.
So, other current of controversial.
While you try to sort out your stroke.
wait, I'm going somewhere with this. What do you guys think about Lindsey Graham dying?
I mean, he died. What do you mean? What do we mean? What do we
have you dove into that conspiracy yet?
No.
So somebody went through and actually figured out it physically would not be possible for him to have gotten home before he died.
What?
So, okay. So he flies over to the Ukraine. He takes a train to Kiev.
Okay.
At Kiev, he does a drone tour of the drone facility.
Okay.
He then would have to take the train back to the west because currently it's a no-fly zone. And so he'd had to take the train back west, get to the airport, then fly home, drive to his house, and then die. And the train that left Kiev didn't leave for 3.5 hours after he would have had to have left Ukraine in order to get home, to have literally walked through the door and died. 3.5 hours.
Based on the time of death
based off of
the ME gave?
Based off of time of death that and the alleged 911 call time. Also, two things. If he couldn't call 911, but he apparently called his sister to call 911 is what I've heard. So if he could call his sister, why didn't he just call 911?
I mean, when you're in panic mode, just devil's advocate.
Agree. But also,
at the same time,
wouldn't your first instinct be to call 911?
Well, maybe he was calling his sister because he didn't know what was going on, and then the 911 call.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that. Yeah. But again, when you,
I get what you're saying. I'm just taking.
I hadn't seen
then on top of all of that.
I was gonna say I hadn't seen anything about any of this. So what was his cause of death?
Heart attack. Well, not a heart attack. It was a sudden but severe medical condition, which is code for
that's
a heart
super
attack,
specific and helpful.
Have you seen the Lego video that because you know how the Iran has been using
him falling apart and breaking into pieces? And
no,
is this unrelated?
Have you guys not seen the Iran propaganda videos?
No.
Yeah, well, I've seen the Lego ones. I've seen a couple of Lego.
The Iran's propaganda right now is Lego videos. They're okay. I will give Iran this.
That's amazing.
I will give Iran
they're high production.
This one. I will give Iran.
They're pretty good.
One thing. I will give them credit on one thing. Their Lego videos are phenomenal.
Yeah.
They're mini movies, man.
Yeah.
They're very well put together. And it's AI videos and they're like Lego. They're actually genuinely the one thing that they do that I'm like, okay guys, you guys got it on this.
Not to make this a full political thing, but the difference between the left and the right, not even left and the right, but me and the left, is that I can give credit to people that I don't like for doing cool things. And the left can't do that. They refuse.
But these Lego videos, like they did one on like the Epstein list. I shouldn't have said that out loud. The Jeffrey Einstein list, because that is still getting shadow banned, so I'll edit that. I have one more thing after that, but anyway.
The list. We'll just call it the list.
The Einstein list, yeah.
No, because there's also the guy with the list.
Okay.
Are you familiar with that? Hold on to that. There was a video that they had put out about that and like all of the people that are related. So Iran puts out a video, and just a week ago, Iran was calling for the death of Lindsey Graham. In this video, Iran is claiming they're the ones that killed Lindsey Graham. They're claiming it. And on it, then there's another name on the list. I can't remember off the top of my head. I wish I would have wrote down my current events this week. But there is another name on the list of like who's next, and it like checks the box off of Lindsey Graham. Another weird thing. Okay, so apparently, allegedly, at the same time Lindsey Graham would have been at this drone facility, and or again, depending on what time the train left the drone facility, if the timeline according to how he got home is correct, he would have been home, like flying home at this point in time. But one way or the other, either while he was there or immediately after he was at this drone facility, Russia blew it up. So the conspiracy theory is that he would have actually still been there, and that our government is covering up the death of Lindsey Graham to avoid us automatically having to go to war with Russia.
Interesting.
But what if the Iran Lego video in this case was not created by Iran, but it was created to make it look like Iran?
Look like it was Iran. But apparently Iranian news...
So it's just too deep.
But the Iranian news is claiming it as well, which is ran by the IRGC or whatever. Then on top of all of that, when Trump was overseas... He was on a trip overseas, and he was flying the new plane from Kuwait, I think it was, or Qatar. It was the new Air Force One. Remember, everybody was giving him crap for accepting a new plane from Qatar.
Yeah.
Well, apparently there was. This is all alleged. This is all fake. Don't believe anything I'm saying. Do your own research. Actually, look it up for yourself. But apparently, the Secret Service intercepted a code coming out, basically, and it was a tip-off. And literally, as Trump is like last second needing to get on the plane, they change plans and they shift it over and they bring in the old Air Force One, and he gets on the old Air Force One. And then a matter of hours, basically later, Lindsey Graham is dead. Weird, right? Apparently, this code or this tip off or whatever, this encoded, I don't know, it's not a letter, but it's the thing being sent through the internet. I don't know, it's not an email, it's not a code, it's not a letter, but it's a encrypted message. Yes, there we go. Just this encrypted message apparently came from Langley, and so. The question is, was it Langley warning them that something was wrong with the plane, or was it Langley sending a message to take out the president, and then they intercepted it, so then they switched planes?
Or was it Langley sending a message for whoever was supposed to take out
Lindsey Graham, maybe. And Trump, there was, but one way or the other, Trump was scared enough, or the Trump team was scared enough that they completely changed it up and had him fly on a completely different airplane. That's not a little thing when the president is like, nope, we're no longer going to go by plan. Last second, we're going to switch aircraft. It's interesting. There's a lot going on that, one way or the other. So Lindsey Graham is dead. His sister took over his position, right? The sister, I think is it?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
One of his siblings. I'll look it up live.
We'll do it live.
Darlene Graham. Gotcha. Nordone.
I haven't seen a lot on that. I just the guy from Jurassic Park. I saw that one kind of overshadowed all of the Lindsey Graham stuff.
That made me sad.
Yeah. So I haven't seen a whole lot on any of this.
Yeah, I was bummed to see that one. I love Jurassic Park.
I know. Me too. Well, and some of his other movies are great too. He's a good actor.
Yeah. So it was. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I was say it was his sister who took over his seat. My question is it the same sister that he allegedly called?
You're the last one to complete the mission. I'm sorry, that was a little dark.
How many sisters did Lindsey Graham have? Just one. So it was the same sister he allegedly called. So he allegedly called his sister, who allegedly called 911, and that sister is now in his government position.
The sister that he allegedly called after the time that the Emmy stated that he was deceased.
Yes. So she is now a U.S. Senator in his place. In Lindsey Graham's place. Huh. Weird, right? Mm-hmm. All weird. Anyway, one way or the other, the whole thing, no matter what and here's the problem with it is, we just don't know what's true, what's not, because Iran could be claiming crap just to try to motivate their people, because meanwhile we're bombing the crap out of them. It could be, maybe it was an assassination, and our government is like, we don't want to give Iran credit.
Right.
Like, we don't want people to think that Iran is capable of killing our senators.
Yeah.
So we're just going to claim it was a heart attack. Maybe it was a Russia thing, and Russia is now getting involved in Iranian matters, and our government is trying to downplay it to try to prevent us from going to a full-blown, all-out World War III. Or he just died of a heart attack, and it was weird, and he flew out, and they gave him special permission to fly out early. And just the stress of the travel or something like that is what got him. But apparently he had just been to the doctor like 3 days before, and the doctor cleared him perfect health.
Yeah.
But his dad did die at a young age of a heart attack as well, to heart disease. So it does run in the family. So it could very well just be a very natural thing with some weird circumstances.
Yeah.
But again, in this podcast, we've learned over time, coincidences don't really exist. Yeah. And there's just too many coincidences that have occurred with Iran claiming it, the bombing of the drone facility, the fact that he was over there for the drone facility, and there's just so many coincidences that your brain just goes, okay, there's 50 coincidences here. At what point are they no longer coincidences? It's just interesting. And meanwhile, at the same time, like I said, Trump is switching over which vehicles he's taking and flying out of. There's a lot there. Okay, what were you talking about? Something about Jurassic Park?
The actor that played Dr. Alan Grant passed away.
I did see that.
He's deceased. Rest in peace.
That is sad. He was a good actor. He was also in that really evil movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't remember what
it is. I can see it though. Yeah, Event Horizon.
The movie was dark.
Yep.
Where basically they like.
There's a couple other things too, but I can't remember what they were.
Isn't the premise of that movie that like they can travel through a wormhole, but the wormhole brings you to hell and then back to Earth or back to space or something like that?
They basically
it's like a different dimension and it's the hell dimension or something. Yeah,
interesting.
It's a dark movie. I do not recommend.
Hell isn't a spiritual thing; it's an actual dimension that they visit. And
I
they become
do not.
I saw a couple clips from it, and I was going to watch it. So I'll not
it is
do
a
that
dark movie.
I like dark movies like that. So I like it, but you definitely have to be in the right mindset. And
watch at your own will, but it's dark enough. I don't recommend it. And you know me, you gotta be pretty dark for me not to recommend it.
I don't know. For me, it's very.
I'd recommend The Exorcism Emily Rose over that movie. That's how dark it is.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it is a dark movie. It's a great the story is phenomenal. But again, a lot of the good dark movies like that do have great stories.
Yeah.
If you can separate the darkness from the story and enjoy it, cool. I would venture to say most people who listen to this podcast probably are not capable of that, and they should probably avoid it.
I am not bothered much by dark movies. I am bothered by any movie that glorifies evil. That's my breaking point.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Horror movies where good wins don't bother me too much. They might freak me out a little bit, but I don't feel gross watching them.
Right.
But yeah,
if as long as I feel like the evil is still evil,
right,
and I don't recognize that the evil in the story is the good guy, I'm like, that's weird, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Anytime if
Oh, sorry.
Continue. No, anytime evil is given like more power than they actually have. That's kind of what bugs me. I don't like that.
Yeah.
European lawmakers just passed a new law. Did you see anything about that?
What law?
Where it basically allows the government to just actively monitor all of your ingoing and outgoing messages.
Oh, that's cool.
Like we do in the United States.
Well, but they legally do it now. They're not doing it quote unquote illegally. They're doing it legally according to their government now.
Yeah.
And you can be tried based off of those messages.
Excellent.
Like Facebook does.
Literally, just it's now in the open and legally you go to jail.
Did you see? I think I sent it to you. I came across I can't remember if it was on TikTok or Facebook, but I came across a post. It was Mel Gibson's character in The Patriot leaned up against a flock camera post with a sawzall. Like the scene where he's hiding behind the tree and he's praying, he's, Lord, make me fast and accurate. It was that.
Dude,
funny.
The flock camera thing is getting kind of crazy.
They're up for a review right now in a lot of places right now.
Also, there was somebody, I'm not going to name names, but someone local has prominence in the political arena here locally, made a comment to just very anti flock cameras and stuff, and I chimed in. I was like, dude, we've made our stance known on the podcast. I'll just say that it's dangerous one way or the other. I get the understood benefit, but at some point you become so monitored for quote unquote safety that it's literally a page out of 1984.
I was about to say, it's what I would love to see would be a prequel story for 1984. I wish George Orwell had written
called 1884.
I found something new on 1884.
I did too, just today.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, continue.
No, I was just gonna say
I'm saving it.
It would have been awesome if he had written a prequel story of like the events leading up to that, how a government justifies all this stuff and puts the things in place.
Right. Yeah. Like how they got to that.
Maybe
point.
It's a book you should write, Phil.
That'd be sick. That'd be I don't know.
That'd be fun.
I feel like it might be a little...
Okay, low-key, this sounds so nerdy, but I kind of want to low-key play a Dungeons & Dragons campaign of that world.
1984?
Yeah, it'd be 1884, the events that lead up to 1984, but in a campaign. That would be so much fun. You got to create your character, and it's like based off of... Anyway, because there's D&D campaigns that are like real-world ones. Right. Anyway, that's so nerdy. I apologize. I've got the sports people going, oh, what am I listening to? Hey, now you know how it feels when we talk about basketball.
Okay, now hold on a second, all right? If Henry Cavill gets to be a friggin' Warhammer 40K nerd, you get to be, that's Superman, okay? You can be
even the gamers right now are like, oh my goodness, these nerds.
D&D. I love D&D. The way I explain D&D is...
I do like D&D.
It's so like the same reason people prefer books over movies, because the story's more robust. It's like fought through. You play through it. It brings it to life at a better level. There's more story. I feel like that D&D is the same thing to like campaign games.
Sure.
It brings this, it's more robust. You have to wrestle over all of the components. There's just more detail. The story is more hashed out.
You get to handcraft it.
Yeah.
With a video game, the campaign's already made. You just get to go through it.
Right.
Whereas with D&D,
even open world games are still...
You make it.
Right.
You make the story.
Right.
You make the decisions. You craft all of it.
It's like a ultimate open world sandbox game that you can do whatever you want.
I was going to say, it would be like creating a campaign game within Minecraft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what D&D is.
Yeah, basically. But anyway,
I just pictured the old original video where they're hashing out how they're going to, in the video game, they're hashing out how they're going to attack this castle and they're going to take it over, and then just dude comes out of nowhere, Leroy Jenkins, kicks open the door and just runs in, and everybody's like, what are we doing? And then like the whole plan just goes to heck. That's how D&D.
I feel like you're aware of this, Tanner. Were you aware that that video was not scripted per se? It was a recreation of something that happened previously.
Yep.
I've known that for a bit.
I didn't know that. It was very disappointing when I found that out.
It was somewhat disappointing.
But the fact that it was a recreation, it's like this actually did happen. We just had to recreate it.
It wasn't scripted. Yeah. It was.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nobody got it on video, and it was so great.
Yeah.
They were like,
it was like, this was too funny. We're doing it again.
Yep. We're gonna redo it.
I was watching a video where the guys the guy's talking about his girlfriend broke up with him or something, and so one of them starts singing, and they're like, doom doom, doom doom. Doom, doom, and then somebody else joins in, and they just like make up a whole song. Like the whole crew that's in the game makes up this like sad love song to him, and he's like, "Guys, just stop, guys, stop it." And they're like harmonizing. It was pretty impressive, but I was cracking up.
What's that one dude who just absolutely wrecks people while he's just singing along to like?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I can't think of who it is.
He'd be like, my hips don't lie, and he's a horrible voice, but all the other people can hear. So it's like games that have proximity, and so it's like all they hear is his bad singing getting louder and louder and louder, and then
as it gets closer,
and it's like it's like almost nearby. Ominous because it's like, oh no, he's going dead, and then he's like, dang it!
Before he started doing the VoIP thing, I remember seeing a clip or two of like he was just destroying and this other dude was streaming or he had it on video, and so first you see the POV of this guy getting just obliterated, and he's like, dude, this guy's sweating so hard, like what a nerd, what an absolute degenerate loser, touch grass. And then it cuts to his POV, and he's
just dancing,
just vibing, singing along, just swings a stairwell and deletes the kid in like half a like in a tenth of a second.
Funny, dude.
And it's so good.
See, that's the thing with it. Like when I play games like that, that's my point of view, but I'm not good. Mm-hmm. Right. I'm singing and dancing, and my teammates are going, "Just pay attention to the game for 5 seconds," and I'm like, "I don't care." Oh my gosh. He's so good. Anyway, gosh, we went on a nerd rabbit trail there for a minute. I think that's all my
last bit. I want to bring this one up. I came across a video. These guys were on a podcast, and they were talking gaming stuff, and one of them asked, would you rather go to jail for 3 years or until your mom beat Elden Ring?
Say that again.
Would you rather go to jail for 3 years or go to jail until your mom beat Elden Ring?
I'd be in jail for the rest of my life.
Because my mom's deceased. But if that had not been the case...
Dark joke, Phil. Dark joke.
So, I mean, does that mean she gets to come back alive?
I mean, then, maybe.
No, she's just playing Elden Ring in heaven.
In heaven? Oh, well then, dude, she's got to be elite in heaven. Her reflexes are like,
it's the same.
Gonna be like perfect. Let's go with that. I broke your...
To be fair, reflexes don't really matter in Souls games, but...
Yeah. But she would have the perfect like 0 ping.
Stop it!
Wife.
Stop it! It's just lag in Dark Souls. What are you doing?
I've broken your hypothetical.
Just play the game. Just play the game.
Yep.
So 3 years because I would be in jail forever.
Just skips right to the last scene and boom, we're done.
She would be like, literally just talking to Jesus.
Snaps her
be
fingers.
like, hey Jesus, could you just make this happen for me real quick? We want to make Phil look stupid.
It's not that hard.
Susan,
you're doing too much.
Susan just comes in and just wrecks everybody. Oh my gosh. Anyway, dark humor. That's fun. Good times. There's been a little bit more congressional fallout from the MK Ultra stuff. So they're opening up apparently more investigations into ties from universities and stuff like that into MK Ultra as a expense. The one thing I think we talked about it during the MK Ultra episode, but I was talking to my students a little bit. The one thing that I think is the biggest deal about that all, that it, just as a follow up to last week's episode, if you haven't listened to it, go back and listen to it. But one of the fallouts from that is that Congress brought in Tom O'Neill as an expert witness and basically just like confirmed him as an expert witness, which then legitimizes
chaos,
his finds. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
And so it's now no longer a conspiracy theorist coming up with conspiracy theories. It is Congress themselves came to him and said, you are an expert witness. The things that you have found are legitimate. Come and testify on what you found.
That's crazy.
It legitimizes it by him being there.
Actually,
it legitimizes
crazy.
his findings.
It's crazy because it never happens.
Right.
Right.
It never happens.
Yeah, no, that's unprecedented.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's... I don't...
Like all the JFK theorists, like they never brought any of those guys. They brought in a lot of scientists, a lot of marksmen, a lot of this and a lot of that, but they never brought in any of the,
Has there ever been another
theorists.
case of that? Like where they
not that I know
brought in
of,
someone that had like done that kind of research on something of that scale and made him a...
Yeah, I don't know. Because honestly, he is not the scientist. He is not the ballistics expert. He is not the this, that, or that. He is a theorist. He is like us.
He's a
reporter that, like, basically on the job trained his way to being a, like, professional god tier investigator.
Yeah.
He's a detective.
Right. Yeah,
with journalism skills.
He's a journalist who is a good... I mean, he was a high-end journalist. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not like he was just a local hack. Alliance Times reporter. And no discredit to the Alliance Times reporters. I'm sure that they're great, but, like, this guy
said
was...
that right as I said hack, too, man. You're making me look bad.
He said it, not me. It was him. He said it. But no, it's he was a high-end reporter who then found a thread that he was just obsessed over, and followed it as long as he could. And the one thing about him is, what gives him the most credibility is that when someone pushes him to make a claim, was Manson MK Ultra'd? Yeah, he says, "I cannot speculate. It is not my job to speculate. It is up to you to speculate. Here are the facts." Yeah. He was in the same clinic that Jolly West ran. Jolly West is confirmed, and so he's confirming what he can confirm. He's choosing not to speculate the things that we then speculate. Right. And that gives, in my mind, his research so much credibility because he's not running with something that he doesn't have evidence of. He runs with things and he finds it and he gives you the evidence. And if he can then confirm it, he confirms it. And in my mind, in his words, he's confirmed Jolly West was a high up scientist in the MK Ultra world.
That is the number one biggest thing. The number two biggest thing is how much it cost him. Yeah. Like
his whole career.
It literally ruined his career. Yeah. Like it ended it. Yeah. Like that's that was the last thing that he ever
I wonder too. I think one big difference with him too is that he didn't go off the deep end. I think it's happened with journalists where they start to pull these strings and they dig so deep into something and then they lose their credibility, they lose their careers, and all of a sudden they're off the deep end and they're just this crazy dude living in a trailer on the edge of town. Yep. Because I'm thinking of like the journalist that researched the Zodiac. Yeah. Dug so deep into it, he ended up going crazy, and like nobody wanted to be around him, and nobody believed him until after everything came up, and then we're like, oh well, maybe he was onto something, So it's interesting.
Yeah, on that,
just didn't go off the deep end.
Right. No, on that note, the third thing to me that to me gives a lot of credibility towards what he did find was that he never like drew a conclusion at the end of the story. That's right. Like, I like the end of his book was just like.
It's like, so
here's what I've got.
What do you think?
I never got to really finish this the way I wanted to.
He didn't connect the dots. He just made the dots, laid them out there, and said, "Here's what I found." Yep. And I respect that.
I didn't really get anything out of it. Nobody ever really.
No smoking gun. No.
I didn't get.
I'm right. You're wrong.
This didn't get published the way I wanted it to. This didn't get. None of this went the way I hoped it would. I don't have what I wanted. It's just this is what I got. Here's all of it.
So I was. On ChatGPT just for a funny. I was like, "Hey, is there a tie between MK Ultra and Skinwalker Ranch?"
Of course there is.
What?
What is it?
Okay.
Of course there is.
So,
Speaking of Skinwalker Ranch,
and here's the thing: ChatGPT has been very anti-conspiracy theory lately. It has been very it's very there's no evidence of this existing.
In bold letters. Yep.
It did not say that this
What
time.
is it?
It said, Hal Puthoff is the biggest link between the two. He worked with CIA-funded remote viewing research at the Stanford Research Institute, which we know all about, in the 1970s. He was involved with the Stargate remote viewing program, and he personally was associated and investigated the Skinwalker Ranch through the AAWSAP, which we will talk about here in a minute. And they also, when they did remote viewing, the government-funded remote viewing programs, which exist, we still haven't talked about on the program a whole lot, often associated with Stargate, would purposefully focus on Skinwalker Ranch as the remote viewing locations.
Wait,
former Army remote viewer. That sounds so sketchy when you say it out loud. Former Army remote viewer Joseph McMun. That's a fake name. McMonigle.
McMonigle.
That's a fake name.
I've heard that name before. Actually.
Joseph McMonigle. It's spelled McMoneagle.
Yep.
Joseph McMonigle has been reported as conducting a blind remote viewing session on the ranch for AAWSAP. This claim comes primarily from the participants and later books rather than declassified government reports.
Dog. What?
Mm-hmm.
I was just joking. I just wanted a funny pun to like, hey, we need to move into the episode. So here's my joke. And then ChatGPT's like, actually, there is a tie right here. Here's the tie.
Not only is
here
it
is
a
the
tie
right here.
Not only is it a tie, that's a pretty freaking significant tie.
And it didn't try to persuade me away from it at all, which is weird. Because have you tried to look up stuff on ChatGPT recently?
I don't.
Because every once in a while, if I'm having a hard time finding an angle, I just go to ChatGPT and look something up. I've used it a few times here, even just recently. And it will always start off with there is no confirmed. Even when looking up, if you look up Skinwalker Ranch, it comes up and it basically says there's been no real irrefutable evidence of anything occurring on Skinwalker Ranch, so you should stop looking into this, basically. And it's just here's the link. Anyway, so we're talking about Skinwalker Ranch today, and apparently MK Ultra was a great segue. I genuinely was like, how are we going to segue from MK Ultra into Skinwalker Ranch? We just did it successfully and blew my mind a little bit. I don't even know where to start.
That's what we do on this show.
Well, let's back up a step. So before there was remote viewing on Skinwalker Ranch and with the organizations, let's go back a little bit. Skinwalker Ranch.
Yes.
Skinwalker Ranch. It is in Utah, in the northeastern part of Utah. And if you look up the original Skinwalker Ranch, it was originally called something different, but the original Skinwalker Ranch was 516 acres or something, 512 acres, something like that. Yeah. And it is just surrounded by Native American land. Mm-hmm. And
it's right in the middle of the
it's just
Ute tribe,
just right there.
Tribal land, yeah.
And if you want to know more about Skinwalkers... Hey, we
forgot to do our thingy.
Oh, we did. Go ahead and pull it out.
Man.
Sorry. Speaking of remote viewing...
I was going to say, go ahead and continue.
I'm going to revote you. Before we even start, I'm going to say 97 and... Don't look back.
I'm going to say 6 and... Where do I look for success?
Ooh.
It's halfway in between. It's 41.
Oh, man.
Oh, wait. I'm going to do a question, too. How is my butt big?
Yes. That would be funny if it just said yes.
Mystery makes life magical.
What was your question?
Where do I look for success? So that makes sense. Yours is better, though.
Guess the listeners will never know. It's a mystery.
Never know. Never know.
Oh, gosh. I'm going to start doing that.
I like the question.
The question's better.
Yep.
Okay, anyway, so starting with the Skinwalker Ranch. And if you want to know more about like skinwalkers, we kind of we dove into it pretty profoundly on the Patreon. But to kind of give you the quick rundown of skinwalkers, originally they're Native American lore, and in the Native American the tribes around there, they believe that it's like a bad omen to even talk about skinwalkers. And so
there's a ridge that runs straight through the thing, and they called it Skinwalker Ridge. That's what they called it before it was even they even bought it. Yeah, because it's just known for lore, and they didn't want it.
But and so basically the what we know of skinwalkers is just like bits and pieces here and there, or from people's quote unquote experiences. Because they believe it's such a bad omen to even like talk about it, there's not a lot, but the gist of it is there's a few different beliefs. One of the tales is that they originally started as like good. So you think of like the Sith, like they start as like Jedi learning the Force, and then they just get so consumed with power that they eventually turn into evil, and then eventually start doing things that would compromise them in their human element, and then eventually get to the point where they're full blown just evil. Another lore is that in order to even become a skinwalker, you have to eliminate and consume the person that's like closest to you, family wise, relative wise, somebody close to you, like as a person. There's quite a few different like lores, but the idea is that they can shapeshift and become different things, but there's just something off about them. They're not quite perfect versions of it.
Right.
So it's like Phil said, it's almost like a copy of a copy. Like when you run something through the copy machine, and then you run it through the copy machine, you run it through a copy machine, and then eventually you're in the 5th grade and you can't read the test because the teacher has used 15 different copies over the years, kind of thing.
Mike said something very similar without having heard what I had said. He said it sounds like an imitation of an imitation.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the gist of what the Skinwalker is. Skinwalker Ranch is not just it's not just this ranch of like, oh, there's a lot of skinwalkers here.
Right.
It's actually like almost the opposite in that like there's just so much there.
It's very just like, vortexy, like triangle-y. Yeah.
Right.
Like all the triangles we talked about.
So the ranch originally, just to give you the background of Skinwalker Ranch, it was established in the 1930s by a couple named Kenneth and Edith Myers. They expanded the ranch, leased it out to other farmers to raise cattle, and it was just just animal cattle ranch,
Right.
They claim that nothing really happened while they owned this ranch, at least in that area. They claim nothing really big happened, and then one of them passed away, and then they leased it out to a few different people for a couple years, and then in came the Shermans. And the Shermans in 1994, they purchased it. Terry and Gwen Sherman purchased it with their 2 kids and then moved there.
Yeah.
And this is where Skinwalker Ranch first begin the tales begin and it takes off. So there's a few different things that occurred, and I'm just going to give the brief overview, and then we'll go back and tell the more stories.
Yeah.
So basically, the Shermans have it for a little less than 2 years. They then are just like, this isn't safe for my family, and they decide to go ahead and just sell the property. They sell it for a loss, actually. They don't make any money off of it.
Right.
Prior to them selling it, they posted an article in the newspaper, which apparently they just kind of gave a brief overview of some of the weird things that's been happening out there. Just kind of trying to like get the information out there and see if anybody else has had those experiences.
I thought this was interesting because the person they sold it to is interesting. It
we
makes
already
me
mentioned
wonder
his name once.
What does it
the MK Ultra part of it.
Yeah. So what I'm saying, it like for me, when I figured out like what he did and who he was and all that stuff, I was like, did they sell it for a loss, or were they forced to sell it for a loss?
Right.
Because they wanted it.
Well, that's the thing is they did sell it for a loss, and so Terry Sherman apparently was so interested in the property. What he did, so he sold it and they moved. And once his family was quote unquote off the property, he felt safe enough and he went back and he worked for Robert as a hired hand, because he was so interested in figuring out what was going on.
Right.
And with the thing was, he just wanted his family safe, and that's why they ultimately sold it.
Right.
So I wonder if, part of me wonders if they sold it for a loss with the guarantee that he had a job there, as a means of like, this is these guys guarantee that I'll be able to work for them on the location, so we'll sell it for a loss so that I can continue working there. If they sold it for a loss, like you said, because they were quote unquote strong arm to sell it for a loss, or if they sold it for a loss because he was willing to investigate, and the other people, because there apparently was some other parties interested as well, and maybe he chose the Bigelow, Robert Bigelow, because he wanted to investigate it.
It's just interesting because like property in general, there's only certain cycles, certain times where you sell a property for a loss. Property value is one thing that you can invest in that almost always is moving upward, sometimes very slowly.
But I would say,
but your investments always go up, and that's interesting.
Selling it within a year and a half of buying it probably guarantees a loss, because people wanting to buy it go, why are you selling it so quick?
Yeah,
especially 512 acres.
Right.
Why are you selling it so fast? You're not broke.
Right.
What's going on?
Yeah.
That's, in my mind, if you are going to sell it for a loss, that's probably a guaranteed way to sell it for a loss.
Which is another thing. If this guy from, this line of government organizations he's worked for pops in with his men in black and says, "Hey, we're taking your property. Here's how much we're going to give you." That's another reason it kind of, just really reads strong arm to me. Yeah. But there's no record of that.
Yeah, there's no record of it. So Robert Bigelow, which we've mentioned his name already once, he was a very wealthy person. And so this isn't just like some cuckoo rando who wanted to buy it and watch for UFOs. This guy's he's a wealthy dude. And he sets up he has his own research group called the National Institute for Discovery Science, NIDS. He buys it with the intention of figuring out what's going on there and investigating and bringing more credibility to the place. Kind of continuing and not going into the small details of it, but just kind of giving the overview. A few years later, the NIDS, he shuts down NIDS, and there was a senator from the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency who is curious about the research that Bigelow had been doing on Skinwalker Ranch, and so he asks if he can come out and pay a visit. And apparently, this senator was confronted by a vivid, multicolored, shape-shifting object that floated in front of him and quickly disappeared, that apparently Bigelow never even saw, and Bigelow was with him. So
interesting.
That apparently influenced the DIA's decision to create the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, AATIP, and they then give Bigelow a $22 million budget to begin researching wormholes, warp drive tech, UFOs, and other unexplained phenomena.
And cloaking ships, and all those things that we learned about when we were talking about ships disappearing from ports. Yep. Just continuing that research.
And then Bigelow eventually sells the property in 2016 to another wealthy real estate person named Brandon Fugel, and this begins the Curse of Skinwalker Ranch TV show and expansion of the ranch, and now it's a giant estate.
And Fugel kept it a secret for 4 years, like nobody knew who owned it for 4 years, and then finally he came out.
And so and now it's just this giant, like there's a theater on there, there's restaurants, but like you can only get access to it by like super duper ultra super permission.
Oh yeah, you got to get past Dragon and his crew.
Yeah, and so it's like super protected. However, all around the edge of the perimeter are camping places that local people own, and just you kind of get, I'm guessing you just kind of, you know what, I'm going to make money off of this. And so you can camp on places that overlook Skinwalker Ranch. And that's basically the gist of Skinwalker Ranch. That's the story. This is the proven A, B, C, D, this stuff happened. Right. Now we're at the end of the timeline. Now we can go back and start to actually talk about what makes Skinwalker Ranch. And this is the crazy thing. So we kind of started, we talked about the Navajo and the Ute lore. There was, I did forget one where there is also a lore where I believe, I don't have it right in front of me, but that the Navajo and the Ute were warring, and the Navajos unleashed the Skinwalkers on the Utes and then couldn't rein them back in, and so now the Skinwalkers just roam the region. That was another one of the Native American lores that I had come across, which the Navajo name is Yi Naldushi, which means with it he goes on all fours. Okay. That's the name in Navajo versus the Ute name. That's one way or the other. This area is creepy because one of the things that kind of initiated all of this clear back when the Shermans owned it in the 90s, and we remember from even like the Dulce base and all the other stuff that was going on. When the Shermans owned the ranch, they kept encountering cattle mutilations. Yeah. And documented cattle mutilations. So one way or the other, cattle mutilations are happening. Right. That's the one thing. And the one thing that I feel like I want answered that I'll never have an answer for is what the heck are cattle mutilations? Yeah. Because they're so widespread and documented. Yeah. Like we don't have pictures of Bigfoot. We don't have pictures of skinwalkers. We just have the stories that are left behind. There's very well documented cases of cattle mutilations.
But you know what's really weird? And I may be off here too, but I seem to like, it seems like cattle mutilations are in the news for a certain particular area that's like weird and strange, like Dulce Ranch, and then all of a sudden when it becomes public and people start looking into it, the cattle mutilations start happening at a different location. And then that becomes the new Area 51 or the new, Skinwalker Ranch, or it's like it happened. It doesn't just continuously happen. It's like it happens, and then when it gets found out, all of a sudden it goes away. It's so weird. Yeah. That's. And actually, the documentary I watched, because I watched the documentary that just came out that was paid for by Fugel, the current owner. I
did not. That's the one I did not watch.
I watched it, and they came across a cattle mutilation on the show.
Oh, did they?
And so they come up on it and they start talking about it, and they all start backing up right away. Yeah. They're backing up and they're like, we don't have any of our equipment. We don't have it. You guys didn't touch it, did you, or anything? They've got Geiger counters out, testing the radiation.
Yeah.
Huge radiation spikes all around where the cow's at and stuff. And so, and so they kind of half jokingly talked about how, they used to do nuclear testing here, blah, 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 and, underground nuclear testing and thing. And I was like, why would they be underground nuclear testing in that ridge area? Number one. Number two, you never hear about that area being nuclear tested. But yeah, their Geiger counter was going crazy, and so they were backing off of it and everything else. This mutilated cow.
It
was crazy.
It's frustrating because both the mainstream of it can both bring credibility as well as criticism.
Yeah.
Because are they actors? Is it all an act? Is it all staged? We don't know.
The experiments they did on this documentary, and I'll fill you in a little bit. And if you haven't watched it and you don't want to be spoiled,
I plan on
pause it, go watch it, whatever. But I'm going to tell you all about it, and I'm going to spoil a little bit for you. They did an experiment because there's video of these like light beams shooting up from the other side of the ridge, and there's nothing back there. And there's these light beams in the middle of the night that'll shoot up to the sky. And they're trying to see if they can recreate it. And so they go clear outside of the ranch and they shoot a high-powered laser at the ridge. And then they have people down where the laser's at. And it's almost like something's imitating the laser. Like they're looking around and it's not just one laser beam. There'll be a laser beam here and like 6 or 7 like faded laser beams all around it.
Weird.
And stuff that you can't see except for you can see them on the ground. And stuff. Just weird, like anomaly type stuff. So they think maybe it was like the metallic rock is reflective, like they were trying to scientifically explain, how a laser that doesn't have the spread wave of like a floodlight, was putting off other lights.
Yeah.
That distortion. But just stuff like that. High magnetic fields. Stuff like that. Hey, so like he has a whole crew that works there. So he's got Dragon and security. Well, they fly unmarked black helicopters.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Like we've talked about crazy stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Like his security is that's describing what his security looks like.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy. Sure. Like it's not a real estate venture.
Oh no,
this place is crazy. Yeah.
Well, let's back to Sherman.
Okay.
And so Sherman, what started it all with the Sherman family was apparently they heard a noise outside and they went out to investigate what it was, and apparently it was just this giant wolf, like up to chest high, giant wolf.
Yep.
And this wolf didn't seem scared of them at all. Like even came up like almost to the point where it was like coming up to them, I believe.
Yeah.
And then eventually the wolf kind of spooks a little bit and it takes off running for the cows. They realize this thing's going to snag one of these baby cows that just kind of wandered off a little bit. And so they begin shooting at it. And
it gets one of the baby cows and is trying to pull it through the fence.
Yes.
It's like stuck.
It's like
they're shooting at it with high power rifles and shotguns and stuff.
It is not doing anything to this wolf. It is just like they could see the bullets penetrating it.
Yeah.
And the wolf is just completely unnoticing. Doesn't even flinch when he's getting shot. Yeah. And eventually the wolf decides that it's going to like walk off, and it just kind of like moseys off. And they're like, this thing's just going to come back. We need to finish it off. We need to finish taking it out. So they begin following it, and they follow its tracks. And as they're following the tracks for quite a while, all of a sudden it's just like the tracks just disappear. And it's not like it shifted or let's say the land, it all of a sudden reached a part of land where tracks didn't imprint or anything. No, because the area which the tracks disappear was just as soft as the land where the tracks were at.
Right.
And so the tracks of this thing just disappear. That's what kind of started it. Eventually they began seeing what they would call as these orbs, that some of them were big enough that it looked like they had like black doorways in them, and these lights that would just appear and come at people, and weird, just tons and tons of weird, strange, just lights all over the place. And then they would hear mysterious voices floating overhead. Just weird sounding, just trying to like, almost like they were talking to them kind of thing. And then just tons of cattle mutilations. Within 2 years, enough had occurred, enough cattle mutilations, enough lights, enough everything had occurred that it scared them enough that they decided they needed to get rid of the property.
Right.
So they get rid of the property and insert Robert Bigelow and Nidsai. And Bigelow comes in, and he's the big bad science researcher, and he begins doing research and looking into all of the accounts that the Shermans had, and apparently we're experiencing the same things going on: cattle mutilations, lights, weird stuff. But the problem with all of their research is that everything that they find, they can't seem to ever document. Right. And so Robert Bigelow, he says that like it's almost like they're psychic in that they knew where and what we were going to record. Yeah. And so when we would start recording, we'd come back to our equipment, and it was destroyed before we even got off the property, basically. Right. And so it's like they never caught anything through their recording equipment. Anytime that they were in person recording, it's like it would never record,
or the vehicle would break down on the way to where they're doing the research, and they would just have to tow it back and stuff. And like, that's a lot of weird stuff.
Just weird things. And then nothing too crazy that really occurred on Bigelow. Like, say, there's no documentation. There's a lot of weird things that happened, right? But there's no documentation. That's I think the weird part about it is that
right.
Like he put up like 24-hour cameras and stuff, and either the cameras would break or they didn't catch stuff.
See, and that's what Fugel set out to do. So they've been using AI and stuff. So on this modern one, they have a whole AI facility set up. Like, this guy is like, there's some money. Like, the tech that they have is crazy. Yeah. So I thought you'll think this is interesting. So they hop in the helicopter to go to one of the investigation sites. And when they get on the helicopter, he stops everybody. He says, before we fly, we're going to pray real quick. So he has them pray before they fly to wherever they're going, which I thought was strange.
That's crazy.
I was like, that's weird, but they wouldn't fly to where they were going until they got there. So the investigator wanted to dig. They said there's no digging here. We don't allow any digging on the property at all, period. They did once, and they kind of avoid the story for a while. And I guess when they did it, the guy in charge of the digging got really sick, started getting headaches, went to the hospital. His scalp was separating from his skull.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. And they don't know if it was radiation or what the deal was. Like, he recovered, but like they basically had to, let the pressure out and do all kinds of stuff just from digging. So they said no digging allowed. Bad things happen. So their AI that monitors it monitors 24/7 and monitors like everything going on in the ranch, weird anomalies, anything like that, and like puts together data. Phil, the name of this AI that they use, I'll give you the full name, and then you marinate for a second. It's called the Sentinel Assignment Telemetry and Notification. The SATAN.
Of course it is. That's amazing.
Nothing could go wrong with that. I had to pause it on the show. I had to pause it and rewind it. I said, did they just say what I think they said? And yep, that's what their AI is nicknamed. Interesting. Shortly after a scene of them praying on a helicopter, I was like, this is really strange. Yeah. But yeah, so it was interesting seeing like the modern approach as opposed to the old approach. And they show some of the old houses where people used to live, and the stuff they've shut down, like the restaurant and all that stuff, because they don't do any of that anymore. They don't do the tourist thing. Security's crazy, like fully armed security. Just guys everywhere, full black uniforms. Like, yeah, it's crazy.
I almost wonder.
It's very Area 51-ish. Yeah, like you don't come on the property. It
almost makes me want to inquire and just see if they would let us, like,
see if we go out there and
do like, hey, we got We got a sheriff's deputy. We got 2 pastors and a clinical counselor.
There you go.
We do a podcast. We want to come on the premise.
You just want to come check it out.
Just want to check it out.
Just
see what happens.
Yeah.
Just see if they say yes. I would take my vacation money and be like, let's go do this.
Yeah.
If they would let us on there. But and who knows, and even maybe they would. But the crazy thing about the Skinwalker Ranch in my mind is just like there's 2 things that are obvious here. One is the sheer amount of money that has been invested into that property is insane.
Yep.
For them to come out and basically not have anything that they can give us as the public.
Yeah.
Which makes me think, what's actually going on here that has them investing all of this money into this location without any real tangible...
There's no profit coming back.
Yeah.
At all.
Other
like
than maybe from the show.
One of their researchers is a former NASA scientist that works out there. Like he has all these researchers out there and everything else, and there's no money return on it. Why is it such a sought after? It can't just be just straight up curiosity. Like,
I'm sorry that we're kind of going back and forth a little bit, but I'm remembering hints of things as we're talking. The Shermans. One of the other things that happened was their dogs went out to investigate, and 3 orbs appeared, and then just basically like insta-fried their dogs and took them out. And those marks stayed burned into the ground even to when I believe what I saw was when Bigelow bought it. Those 3 spots where the lights were still there, that grass wouldn't grow normally in those spots. And then
radiation.
I mean, that's what else could it be?
Yeah.
We'll continue. We'll talk more about the Blind Frog Ranch at some point. But Blind Frog Ranch is only 30 miles away from Skinwalker Ranch, and
that's triangle distance.
Yeah,
it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that show that anyway, we'll talk more about that show on next episode. We'll talk about other ranches.
Yeah,
but with Skinwalker Ranch, I think the crazy thing is that so all this stuff occurs. We've talked about the money that's invested into it, and the government itself was interested in it.
Yeah,
it's not just this rando piece of land that has nothing,
Yeah.
But it is interesting to me though that it's Skinwalker Ranch, and some of the things that are seen there are what we would describe as skinwalkers, like the yellow eyes of the weird creatures that look off and stuff like that. But what it's known for is the orbs and the lights and the UFOs and stuff,
alien stuff. Yeah,
and it's not actually the skinwalkers that it's known for, but apparently the skinwalkers exist on the property,
right?
And it makes you wonder how big of an association between the skinwalkers and the UFOs and the orbs and the lights and all of that there is.
Yeah.
If it is, and my brain goes to, because we talk about it on the Patreon a little bit, but I think skinwalkers are definitely a demonic thing. It's definitely evil.
Yeah.
And we've also talked about on the show how UFOs and orbs and stuff could just be demons as well.
Right.
Well, if it's all just demons, then it's going to manifest in different ways. And so if there's lights, if there's the skinwalkers, if there's this and that and all of it, and it all just ties and it just looks like something demonic, it makes you wonder again what our government's interest is in something like that.
Right. Yeah. Well, and it's not a secret that governments have been looking into, a spiritual angle over a technological angle for decades. I mean, that's been
the interesting thing is that they try to hide that part.
Yeah.
Oh, we're totally looking into nuclear technology to turn humans into mist from around the globe.
Right.
What are you talking about? Demons?
Yeah. Well, and that's looking at remote viewing and mind control and all those things are very not. That is not a tech thing.
No.
That is a very soul human connection type of thing. That is not a tech thing, you know? So, I mean, developing tech to be able to manipulate that, sure, but at
that's
base,
supernatural crap. We don't believe in that. We believe in science and physical technology.
There's a lot. Okay, we're not giving a big, huge, in-depth overview like documentary style.
Yeah.
Just being real, there's a lot that we're missing that, for the sake of the show, we just don't have time to get into. Otherwise, we're running into a big, huge, multi-episode thing where.
Well, there's so many branches you can take that, you know, do we look at this from a cryptid viewpoint? Do we look at it from a UFO? You know, there's just so many different directions you could take.
Right.
You know?
And frankly, the people who have documented the facts about the location.
Yeah.
Just go find one of those documentaries. Yeah. There's a ton of them. There's a free one on YouTube. It's like an hour long. And the guy just talks the facts.
Yeah.
This is what happened. This is who wrote this book. This is what they then claimed back. All of that stuff. It's just the facts of the stuff.
Yeah.
That's documented. We don't need to retell that story. That story's been told. People have done a better job of looking into and documenting the facts than we're willing to do on the show. Because we speculate. We don't. We don't.
Right.
So, but some of the weird things that have occurred that we didn't really get into are like when the Shermans bought it, they claimed that the previous owners, that it was just like there were locks and chains and it was like secured and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
They claimed that. But then people were like, well, they probably just are making stuff up to try to make money. But the thing is, they lost money.
Yeah.
They sold it for less. They didn't come out of it with a bunch of money. They didn't make a ton of money. So what is the point? What is the motivation of them making up this story? Then on the other side of things is, so if the previous family, if they claim that nothing ever happened on the property, which again, they passed away prior to the Shermans, or the Shermans buying it. If nothing occurred on the property, then what then caused it to kind of go crazy when the Shermans bought it? Or was it an era where you just didn't talk about those kinds of things?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Did it just come with the territory?
They experienced it, and they were like, people think we're crazy, so we're just never going to mention it. Mm-hmm. The alternative is maybe something happened. Maybe the Shermans buying it just kind of set off whatever were there, and they're like, oh, we don't like these guys for some reason.
Yeah.
And I'm speculating. I don't know. Maybe the Shermans were Christian and the previous owners weren't, or vice versa.
Right.
You know what? And there's the little things, the small details that I think could matter, but one way or the other, the Sherman side of things, I don't understand why they would have made up everything, because it did cost them money.
Right.
They didn't get famous off of it. It did cost their family a lot.
Yeah.
The Bigelow, from Bigelow on, Bigelow was a rich man who knew how to make money, and maybe he did make a profit off of the stories and the government contracts and whatever. Yeah. Maybe he did. Maybe he was sent there by the government.
Right.
Maybe, all of that, because that tie that we found, going back to it, the ties between Skinwalker Ranch and now MK Ultra and Stargate is actually kind of intriguing to me, and it changes my thought process to maybe wonder.
Well, and this was a whole era where they were trying to find these vortexes and these power points on the Earth that they could use to amplify, these remote viewing skills and all, because they've documented that we're looking for places like that, and maybe they were like, this is one of those places. Let's move out there. Let's do the thing.
So apparently the government-sponsored remote viewing session of Skinwalker Ranch occurred in March of 2010. So and this is all Freedom of Information Act.
Yeah.
So whatever is going on at Skinwalker Ranch, it was affecting even top secret operations like the Stargate viewing sessions and stuff like that, for them to have then looked at Skinwalker Ranch and remote viewed it.
It is funny though when you think back to like old stories from hundreds of years ago when somebody would hear about something scary in the woods. You don't go in the woods, but humans now we hear about scary stuff and we want to buy it and we want to go see it and we want to touch it and it's crazy. Yep. Well, it's like that one comedian bought the Annabelle doll and couldn't figure out why bad things were starting to happen. You're like, well, maybe it's because you bought the doll.
Okay, so looking into, and I'm sorry, I'm doing research in real time because the whole remote viewing thing caught me off guard. Yeah, to the point where I was like, oh crap, I didn't even think about this avenue. So the Skinwalkers, the Pentagon remote viewing session produced two kinds of information. The first one was ordinary details that could be checked against reality. So location, what did it look like, the building color, shape, that kind of thing. Joseph McMoneagle.
It's McMonagle.
It's a fake name. McMonagle. Was given the target number of the location that represented Skinwalker Ranch.
Okay.
He then apparently, according to the report, accurately described the layout of the ranch, the headquarters building, the surrounding terrain and topography, the animals on the property, the two ranch managers, and the two security guards who were on the property, apparently. The part that is under discussion is he also claimed that there was a fifth individual. There was another being present, and he described him as being male, approximately 4 feet 3 inches tall, roughly 60 to 70 pounds,
gray
hairless,
skin, big eyes,
hairless, difficult to resolve visually, and invisible to ranch personnel.
Pause. Difficult to resolve visually. He's low res.
You know what? I came across a theory the other day that was talking about cryptids and aliens and why they're like, how come Bigfoot's always blurry? How come the aliens are always blurry but everything's clear? Maybe, and that's where the blurry creatures comes from. Maybe that's just what they look like. Maybe they are just blurry because they're in between.
Mitch Hedberg had a bit on that. You know? He's like, I don't think it's the photographer's fault. I think Bigfoot's just blurry.
And that's probably, I think that's where it came from. But that became a real theory.
That is like, straight up reasonable.
If we're talking about it being a multidimensional creature, maybe it's in between, and that's why it's blurry. We're not perceiving him completely. I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah, so apparently Mick Moneagle, I know it's McMonagle, but I'm calling him Mick Moneagle.
It just sounds like the rip-off version of McGonagall from Harry Potter.
Mick Moneagle sounds more... Mick Moneagle sounds like a fake government name.
It's dodging copyright infringement.
Yes. Mick Moneagle sounds like a government name. McMonagle sounds like a copyright infringement. I'm going Mick Moneagle because it sounds like a CIA op, so we're going Mick Moneagle. So he didn't identify this thing as alien, demon, ghost, cryptid. He just described it as being hard to what did it say? Difficult to resolve visually. That this thing must have been invisible to the
and his partner Edward. I'm not the CIA.
yes, Mick. Big Bad Bear, which
all right. He's Irish.
Oh my gosh.
Irish and Native American mixed.
That
makes sense.
I cut that. I'm sorry.
What'd you say?
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
Oh man.
I don't know. I'll write it down.
Just in case.
I didn't hear you.
That was bad. I apologize.
You know, when we go to video, you can't do that. It's stuck. Everything you say is going to be out there. Because I'm not going to edit video like I edit the podcast. Say, Phil does not represent.
You can still bleep. You could bleep.
I could bleep the audio, yeah. But then they could just read your mouth.
No, they can't.
Put a microphone
right here. You can't see my mouth.
Sticker over
duck over his mouth. Yeah.
Duck. Put a little alien.
Like the donut operator when he's shooting videos. Whack, 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 whack,
whack. Okay, so this remote viewing session was part of a broader investigation. Beyond the fifth individual, which was the small hairless humanoid that was difficult to
get into focus.
It was blurry. They said that they sensed an unusual presence or an intelligence that it was associated with. Basically, is what this remote viewer explained.
Tapping into a hive mind.
Again, didn't say that it was alien, demon, or otherwise. And then the AAWSAP investigators later claimed to encounter a large wolf-like creature, which would verify the claims of the original family, the Shermans. Or not the original, they were the second family. Yeah. It would have been the Shermans that encountered the wolf. The family before them said nothing happened.
Okay, but it was not the original family.
Yes, they were the second family. Yeah. Let me find, where was I at? They apparently also found Bigfoot-type creatures on it using remote viewing. They've found shadow figures, but they also want to make the point. The AAWSAP is not the same thing as the FOIA remote viewing program.
Right.
But they are the AAWSAP. AAWSAP was the government-funded program that they then
utilized remote viewing.
So it was a government group.
It's not the remote
but
viewing
it's not
thing.
Right, they weren't doing
remote viewing is a
they asked the remote
technology,
viewers to come and do some things. Check this out. So
Right.
you think, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So the AAWSAP found wolf-like creatures, Bigfoot-type creatures, shadow creatures, and poltergeist-like activity, claims including doors opening, voices, footsteps, objects moving, electrical disturbances, and unexplained knocks.
And low-res hairless midgets.
Yes, glowing orbs of blue, orange, white, and yellow. Then portal phenomena. Some witnesses disclaimed what appeared to be like openings in the air, which the Shermans explained that too. It's almost like black doorways within the orbs. And then the hitchhiker effect. And this is I wanted to get to this, yes. I wrote this in my notes, and I wanted to get to this. In my mind, the one thing that seems to distinguish this different than every cryptid we've talked about prior to this is that the Skinwalker Ranch is notorious for the hitchhiker effect. Do you know what the hitchhiker effect is? I'm being dramatic for episode as like the home run hit. So the hitchhiker effect is when apparently the things that occur to you on the ranch then follow you home.
Okay.
They hitchhike you.
Right.
They hitchhike with you back home. And so people who were on the Skinwalker Ranch investigating often claimed that what they found and the phenomena that they saw on the ranch, they would then later on see at home after the fact.
Right. What movie is that like? I feel like that's a thing. But yeah. I don't know.
So these are the government AAWSAP investigators or whatever. I don't know if they're government investigators, but it's the government program investigators.
Sure.
Okay,
Yep.
I don't know how to word that correctly. They claimed there would be shadow figures that would follow them home. There would be the knocking sounds that would follow them home. Apparitions. the electronics behaving strangely, and even their family members then, after experiencing something within the house, it would hitchhike with their family members. So not only is it following them home from the Skinwalker Ranch, it is then being experienced by their family members, and then their family members, it is hitchhiking with their family members, and their family members are having unusual experiences at work and at other places. And so it's crazy to me. So one of the things with skinwalkers that I've been learning is there's certain rules to skinwalkers. The first is that they're trying to get you to try, like, what opens the door to them, okay, is that they're trying to get you to help them. So they're always wounded, hurt, adorable, somebody you know, somebody you're looking for. Mm-hmm. Yes. And they're trying to get you to help. And when you acknowledge them, you open the door. Now, opening the door doesn't immediately result in like a full-blown like haunting, mm-hmm. but it opens them up and they will begin to try to entice you more. Mm-hmm. And apparently it's once they have gotten you...
Girl Scouts with those cookies.
100%. Once they have gotten you to acknowledge them, like, I think it's like 3 times, they then, like, it's a full-blown haunting. I'll call it a haunting. If I'm being insensitive to the Native American tribes, then I apologize for that. But but that's how I would, as a pastor, I would describe it. And so once you've acknowledged it enough times, it's like a full-blown haunting, and then eventually you go missing if you continue to
engage with it.
Engage. So one of the ways in which the rules of the land, so to say, in that region is if something cries out to you, and you don't know the definitive source, do not respond. You can investigate, you can look. Like if you see it, you can look at it. Looking at it isn't opening the door. But you responding to it is what opens the door, as though you're going to help.
Kind of like the Appalachian friggin', you heard a whistle in the woods? No, you didn't.
No, you didn't. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And even to the point where, so the thing, another thing that distinguishes skinwalkers as opposed to the other cryptids is skinwalkers can use things like radios. And so, like, you'll have like a CB radio, and if it comes through the radio but doesn't have a definitive call, because like there's rules to CB radios. Like if you're using the radios at like the parks or whatever, and you just hear like a call that calls you out by name and is like we'll just do Phil, be like, Phil, are you safe right now? Do you see that? And then that's it. You don't know where that came from.
Right.
So the rule of the land is if there isn't a call, so then you would respond. So if you're like on the job, you'd be like, hey, dispatch, do you have a record? Did dispatch, hey, dispatch, did you just call out to me? And if dispatch is like, no, what are you talking about? Then you then know radio silence. You don't respond to anything that comes through the radio. The problem is that if you then respond to it as like, hey, Phil, what are you doing right now? And you're like, I'm just chilling. I'm not busy. What do you need? Dispatch or whatever. You've responded to it. You've now initiated it. It now is going to then ramp things up. If you ignore it, apparently it eventually moves on. Allegedly. This is all allegedly Skinwalker lore. And so you have to like verify where the source came from. That's the way around it, is you try to verify. But you're the only one, a lot of times, most times, you're the only one hearing the radio. And so...
so is it in the radio or is it in your head?
Exactly. That's the thing. That's the whole thing about it is it in your head or is it in the radio? And the next thing that it comes out is that it will try to mimic people that you know or who were like around you when you first showed up in the place.
Yeah.
So it'll try to be like, oh, if you saw a hiker walk by and you talk to them, it'll try to imitate that hiker's voice because now it's a familiar. So then its next step is it tries to be something that is familiar with you. And then it ramps it up, and then it's like it uses your own voice to try to then get you. Anyway, all that to say that, like,
that would freak me out, man. Like hearing somebody else's voice is one thing, but hearing my own voice,
your own voice just slightly off,
I'd be like, no.
I don't know if I'd recognize my voice slightly off.
I'd recognize your voice, Phil.
Yeah.
No, I'd recognize your voice too, but I don't know if I'd recognize my voice.
I don't
know. Let's test it. Let's test it when we go out for a Bigfoot hunt. We bring some recordings of Phil. Set up some speakers.
You see if he recognizes his own voice.
He'll forget by then anyway.
Yeah,
so
great.
Probably.
Set it up.
So, all that to say, it is interesting that what the hitchhiker effect seems to. That's the one crossover in my mind.
Yeah.
The hitchhiker effect is the one crossover from the Skinwalker lore to Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah.
Because part of the Skinwalker lore is it's trying to entice you. If these people investigating with the AAWSAP, they're going to initiate with the creature or the noise or the whatever. They're going to initiate, and it then follows them home. That is the one connection to the lore that exists.
That's on the old Ghost Adventures ones. There's an episode where the things follow him home, and I'm like, man, that would be enough for me to quit.
Yeah.
That would be enough for me to quit if I was investigating someplace and then all of a sudden I realized whatever it was followed me home. I'd be done.
Well, that's what Dustin said why he got out of it from Insane Labs. If you haven't listened to the Insane Labs owner, CEO, whether you're into working out or supplements or not, we did talk cryptids. So go listen to it. But Dustin, the owner, the CEO of Insane Labs, he actually brought up that he used to be heavy into investigating, and he quit one time when it followed him home, basically.
Yeah.
That that was kind of with when I was playing with the Ouija boards and stuff before I became a Christian.
Right.
When I wouldn't be touching the Ouija board, but whatever spiritual thing that was affecting me would come through.
Yeah.
That was my moment of like, I think I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Ironically, long before I ended up getting thrown out of the shower and all that other stuff. But anyway, long before that even, I had got to the point where I was like, this is weird. I don't like this.
Right.
Even though we still played, but that was my moment of like,
and that's what sold me on it. Because up till then I was like, oh, we're just pushing it with our fingers, and I had a whole psychological explanation for it. But the few times that we did it where somebody that wasn't even touching the board, somebody's just standing over there and whatever they're thinking is popping up on the board, freaked me out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's why I was like, I don't like this, is because then it became very real to me.
Yeah.
It was no longer, it couldn't be explained through another means.
Yeah, before then it was just a game
be,
and you're just silly and this isn't real, but that made it seem real.
Yeah,
like,
that brought it to realness. Yeah,
I get that.
But yeah, so the hitchhiker effect that these guys experience from Skinwalker Ranch, and that's part of the reason why, like, I don't want to go investigate Skinwalker Ranch, you know, because you are opening yourself up to that when you're like, I'm willingly going to go investigate.
Which again might explain why these guys who are new to the ranch, I mean, relatively new, they've been out there for 10 years, but why when they hop in a vehicle and they travel, and even when they're leaving, they pray real quick before they leave. You know, maybe they're onto something. Yeah. Maybe they understand it, and they don't just come out and say it, but they're like, we're doing this before we do this.
Right.
You know, so that's interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, Skinwalker Ranch, I might actually start watching the show. I don't know. Have you ever watched the show? Is it cheesy? Is it legit?
The new one?
The actual show.
Yeah, that's what I've been watching. I didn't get all. It's several episodes, but I'm through about 3 episodes of it.
Okay.
It's a very scientific approach, but every once in a while they throw something spiritual in there, but they don't talk about it. They just do it, and I'm like, that's really strange. But yeah, it's interesting because, like I said, a very scientific, high tech. These guys have money.
Yeah,
I mean, these are not like your run of the mill regular millionaire helicopters.
Right.
Like, these are like. Yeah, brand new, like. It's crazy.
There's money invested. Yeah, there's definitely money invested.
I liked it because it's a very scientific approach. It's not a ghost hunter. We're gonna find spirits, or it's not that kind of approach. It's just like something's going on here.
Right.
Let's do some real groundwork and try and figure out what's going on. But we also still have to follow these rules because real things happen.
Right.
This wasn't, we've heard things happen. This is like real things happen here, and we don't want those things to happen to our people.
Right.
So it was interesting. It's an interesting show.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll finish watching it probably this week.
Yeah.
But it was a good introduction.
Yeah, I'll probably start watching it, and then so we'll continue where we're leaving off right now. Mm-hmm. We'll start off with Skinwalker Ranch stuff, and we'll move into some of the other ranches. This is a Patreon. Again, this is a Patreon request episode that's turned into a series, or that I knew was going to be a series initially when it was requested. Shout out to Red. Thank you for the Patreon request. Remember, if you want an episode, join the Patreon, make a request. If you aren't in the Patreon and you have an episode idea, you can always shoot it out to us, but we prioritize Patreon requests and our own episodes of what we think are going to be good episodes over non-Patreon requests. But if you are a Patreon request, that gets priority and you jump in line in the Patreon request order. So if you have an episode you want us to talk about that's conspiracy theory related, cryptid related, weird related, or you just want some light to be shined on it, hit us up, join the Patreon, patreon.com/BA Bigfoot. Don't forget to join. You can even join it for free, so you can see when we post. You just don't have access to the content other than just every once in a while I'll drop some free content, and I do drop free content on there, so it's still worth your time to be a Patreon member. Even if you aren't a paid member, you just won't get access to certain things.
Hop in the Discord, they'll tell you all about.
Yep, Discord's free. If you want in the Discord, just shoot me a message and we'll get you in. And
Insane Labs,
use code BA Bigfoot. Mention the podcast to Theo G at Shocker Tattoo in Denver and get 25% discount.
New Mr. Nice Guy album drops this weekend. It'll be out by the time this episode comes out. So hop on Spotify, listen, subscribe, do all of those things. Rate it 5 stars. It does help. As like seeing the algorithms and knowing the inside of this side of things, you would be surprised at how much for smaller content creators that like aren't full-time content creators, how much just a simple comment, a good rating, and a share helps out. Yeah.
So do the things. And with that, we love you guys. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys.
You guys are amazing, and we will see you next week.
Don't forget to be your BA best.
Yeah, actually, hold on.
Wait, what?
I'm going to pray us out of this one.
Okay.
There was enough spiritual thing. So, Lord, I just pray protection over those who listen to this episode. I pray you would protect them against any attacks from the enemy or anything that could cause them harm. And, Lord, I just pray that there would be a spiritual and mental block where there needs to be a block, where there be a wall, there needs to be a wall that would prevent anything from the spiritual, for anything dark, anything evil, anything demonic from having a foothold because of this episode and because of talking about skinwalkers. I pray that you would protect all of us on the podcast and our families against any attacks from the enemy or anything that would try to attach themselves to us because of these episodes. And Lord, we just give ourselves, we pray protection, we pray all of those things, anointment, all of that in your name, Jesus. And it is in your name alone we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Ancient days of giants, when the earth was wild and free, a creature roamed the valleys, cloaked in mystery. Is he born of angels' blood and man, a Nephilim so tall, or a shadow of the fallen, yet he the maker's call? He's a biblically accurate Bigfoot, with a lineage from the skies. Not a myth or legend, but a truth that never dies. Is he a remnant of the Nephilim, a titan standing tall? Or does he have the word of God upon him, the last to hear the call?